Hello, we are live.
Welcome to it. I'm gonna post about it
Welcome
real quick
to.
before
Oh, well, this will be edited out in the post processing. But hello, everybody. While JD is posting on social medias right now, welcome to Core Confessionals with your host, me. I am Ian, and this is going to be a series, a live stream slash podcast slash whatever the hell we're going to make it. It's going to be kind of a two-parter purpose. So the first purpose being sort of a historical retrospective on this pretty insane, borderline niche, explosion in the early and mid 2000s of not only metalcore, but specifically Christian metalcore, and sort of like delving into the ins and outs and really seeing how the sausage is made. And then obviously the second half and purpose of this podcast is also a little bit of therapy. Because myself and tonight's esteemed guest, I don't know, I pointed that way. He's over here.
on my screen. You did it right on my screen.
I did. Oh yeah. Ooh,
Yeah.
love that. Mirrors. How does that work? But we are veterans from God's Army in the White Belt Rift Battalion. With a lot of awesome times, a lot of not so awesome times.
Yeah.
And so, I'm obviously very hesitant to be another doughy white guy with a freaking podcast. So yes, I mean that as derogatory as it means, but but I really wanted to, as we're getting older, and you and I have obviously kept correspondence the entire time.
Yeah.
But we've obviously grown older, gained some weight, lost some weight. You had some kids, you got married.
We've lived some life.
We'll live some life. And when you get to a certain age, closing in on 40, you start kind of looking back on not only just nostalgic memory stuff, but you also kind of stem back and kind of really start processing your feelings and kind of have, you have enough distance sort of away from these experiences and these, honestly, even a lot of the things that were previously negative, you kind of almost have a little bit of like a nostalgia for, and I'm kind of having a weird time processing that. So my only way of doing some kind of therapy with it is, hey, how about I start a podcast and then bring on people I know and possibly don't know who have either been a part of the industry, been a part of just the explosion in general. They might still be in it, or people who are completely way and far out of it. I just kind of want to get a full spectrum on a lot of things. So sort of before we dive into introducing our guest, just sort of how this is going to kind of be structured is we're going to hinge on kind of three main questions, but obviously there's going to be a lot of storytelling. But before I get all the nuts and bolts, we need to introduce tonight's guest. Man, myth, legend, father, husband, prolific writer.
Prolific.
Dare I say, Ohio's best pianist.
Listen, I love that joke between us, but when it comes to Ohio, man, there's some pianists.
There's a lot of pianists out there.
I'll take Fremont's best pianist.
Clyde's best pianist.
Oh, Clyde's for sure. I don't know. Hang on. Actually, I can't say that. There's a fantastic pianist in Clyde that I know of that I'm like, nah, he would school me.
No, you're absolutely shred.
He would just wreck me. But with like concert, like concertos and stuff. And
but my dear friend, bandmate, brother, the one and only Jonathan David Merrill, J Diamond. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for having me.
I just saw you the other day.
Yeah, it's been so long. It's been at least 4 days, dude.
But I mean, that's sort of the beauty of like having you as a first guest is like, you were the longest tenured Settle the Sky member, to my knowledge.
I don't know. I put the X. We were never straight edge, but
but you know,
Yeah. Core.
But before we kind of get into the actual questions of the podcast, I kind of want to give a perspective of like, I knew JD before we were ever in a band together, but we were all kids in high school, playing in local bands. And so what I want to kind of, before we delve into everything, is kind of give a chance for you to kind of talk about your origins in not only music, but kind of your beginnings of playing in not only bands, but eventually this Christian metalcore explosion.
Yeah. So, man, how do I give my backstory? So I come from a very, very religious family. Me and the lead singer of Settle the Sky, Dan, is my first cousin. I think a lot of people know that. I don't know if everybody knows that, but
you
we're
know
first
now.
cousins. We're from the same family, and we grew up very involved, not only in church but just in ministry in general. So when my great grandpa came to Fremont, he started a church, but was also like an evangelist that would travel to other churches. And then my grandpa was kind of the same way and helped found the church that I was raised in.
Yeah.
In that church, my dad ran sound, my mom played piano, my aunt sang, both my aunts sang. Everybody was involved somewhere, some way, shape, or form in the generations above us, but nobody in our generation was really a part of that at that time. I mean, we were, young, but I'm the baby of the family. So like everybody else was kind of grown up.
Right.
So I was kind of like the youngest who was always there because my mom was always at music practice. Dad had to run sound. We were there early. We had to stay late. I was in the church, just church rat kid, climbing through the chairs and being a nuisance, but always around music, always around positivity, always around community and, friends and skateboarding and whatever else is going on in youth group and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. Turnaround, the rec center.
Yep. So we had an outreach program at this church called Turnaround, where basically we'd have a bunch of people from the community come to the church because we had Xboxes and skate ramps. And they were like, hey, come on in here. We'll tell you. You don't have to learn about Jesus, but we're totally going to do that for a little bit. And then you guys can, go have some Taco
Many
Bell.
such cases.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were probably one of the earlier churches in our area doing something like that. I don't think we were a rarity across the nation. I think this was kind of happening all over the place. But definitely for our small town in Northwest Ohio, rural Northwest Ohio, to have something like that where there's a church with an arcade and a ping pong table and
Mountain Dew.
Yeah. And interesting music. And, metalcore at the time was not really a part of that yet, but we were starting to get some rock, some hip hop, some of that late 90s, early 2000s youth group Mama Jamma was starting to sprinkle its way into the church world. And that really got me excited and hooked. And as a pianist, my mom played piano. I had pianos in the house. We had musicians over all the time because of worship practices and whatnot that people were having. I eventually was I just want to start making stuff and seeing what kind of noises I can make, and I want to play with other people and see what we can do. So I think my first band
wasn't Tomorrow's Tragedy.
It was Tomorrow's Tragedy, I think.
Was it your first one?
I think that was the first one. And I hate saying that name on a podcast because if there's any digital footprint of that, please, dear God, erase it. Oh, Lord. But, cringy Christian kid. I think I wore a Got Jesus. The milk propaganda.
I might still have that picture somewhere.
Please burn it. Just shred it.
somewhere in the catacombs of Photo Bucket.
I had my hair dyed black at the time. I think maybe even with crayon.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that part.
Yeah. No. Okay. The crayon one didn't stick. There was too much wax.
We were trying to.
It was a bad time. We were just kids DIYing, just trying to figure it out and putting stuff together and seeing what happened. And there were no rules. And Fall Out Boy blew up out of nowhere, and we were just like, "Oh, this can happen for us. Let's just keep." Yeah. So the rec center shows.
Yes.
Outside of the church stuff. So the church stuff led to skateboarding, and skateboarding led to a little bit more extreme styles of music. I don't want to say I didn't really ever get into anything super. Off color or I wasn't into it for any of that stuff. I just the passion, the aggression, the volume, the intensity. Yeah. I was really drawn to that. So when we started making music, I originally Tomorrow's Tragedy was just a weird I played with a DJ thing, and we did some things. And your
Listen,
brother, no, was that
we
Trevor
started
that
somewhere.
recorded us?
Yes. I forgot
Life
all
is
about that.
weird, man.
Yeah, we're definitely probably going to end up getting into the like a lot of the esoteric shit kind of after the fact of all the stuff. But like,
Yeah.
when you really look like kind of comb back, like there's a lot of like,
Oh, somebody said high school days sharing random CDs of Christian metal. Dude,
good
yes.
time.
Burning
yeah.
CDs for each other, mixtapes. We had every time you got in the car, just a book of CDs that you're flipping through. You got the new Under Oath, dude?
Y'all ever hear of Zayo?
Oh, heck yeah. I can't wait to get into like the metalcore stuff. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
let me try to make so I was raised in the church, then did skateboarding, and kind of got into the community. Tomorrow's Tragedy was not successful because we were young and dumb and weird. I knew that the pieces were coming together. Shows were like being thrown together in our small community that were super DIY, super punk rock, in a gymnasium at the community recreational center. And they were like huge, good shows. Like that's where I met Nick Moore originally from the Drama Summer, who like went on to do Before Their Eyes, and then
multi
Thriller Records and In Vogue Records and Sign Settle the Sky, and on Standby Records. So it was just something was alive, something was happening, and I knew I had to get in, and I just wanted to make cool music. So we decided to start a Christian rock band. We tried to emulate Spoken and came out sounding more like Haste the Day, and now I'm on a podcast with you, having a good time.
So
that was 20 years ago. But.
Yeah, that's honestly I don't mean to harsh any mellows here, but we're on the cusp of over 20 years ago. We're hitting over that hump. We're coming into that 2020.
Oh, you froze. Oh no, you're back. You're back.
There is a massive snowy windstorm outside, so if there is ever any connectivity issues,
you're frozen again on my screen.
Oh no,
I can still hear you though. Yeah, there's a crazy windstorm here too. We're both in Ohio, so it's happening here.
So
but
connectivity might be a little wonky, but at least we're getting the audio right now.
We're getting audio. We're getting some video. You're back.
I am so back.
You're so back.
But okay, so that let's kind of delve into some of the more origins here of our time in Settle the Sky. Because obviously you guys started way before I was ever in the band, because my other high school bands played with you guys.
Yeah.
So many of these local shows, and I sort of had like an opposite origin story, where I come from a not religious background, and I came from, especially during high school, I was really living my edgelord atheist, era.
Oh yeah.
But the cool thing was, like, going back to those rec shows, they were multi-genre shows, and everybody played them.
Oh,
Christian,
multi-genre is an understatement.
Yeah, like you'd have a death metal band, a screamo band, a punk band, an acoustic emo guy, a rapper,
70s band that wore Halloween masks.
Oh yeah, like a Practically Our Misfits ripoff band, but they still kind of ruled anyway. Like there was just that was sort of the cool thing, is like, and that's what kind of made me gravitate towards you guys. It was obvious we were like of the same age group, but like, just because you guys were like super youth groupy, and usually, like, by more often than not, I'd be pretty averted to that. But like, there was no preachy. It was just friendship, and
we were just down to hang, man.
Yeah, and that's what kind of really opened the door for me. And then you guys recorded the Now That We're Rating EP in 2007, but it officially came out in 2008, right?
I always get this. This is the timeline where everything was fuzzy for me.
Yes.
2005 to like 2007 or 8. I remember all the things that happened.
Or you might have recorded it in 2006. Either way, mid 2000s, their EP comes out. But right after it comes out, Elliot Gruenberg, which hopefully I can get him on at some point. I love.
I bet he would.
He's such an interesting dude. He's in Bless the Fall now. He's doing great. He's doing awesome things. He's making cooking videos on Instagram. I love him.
Cooking videos? I haven't seen any of his cooking videos.
Oh yeah, well
Okay.
he did like a story where he was like cooking something. It was cute.
According to the Googler, it came out on January 1st, 2008, and also October 28th, 2008.
well, there you go.
So 2008 is when the EP came
right. So the EP came out, but you guys were playing those songs since 2005. So and EP comes out. Elliot soon quits because
which he didn't quit at first. He was still in school. He was going to a community college and working on some things. He wasn't able to go on the road with us.
And so I became your touring
because we weren't making money or famous or popular, and we were just like, we're just gonna be famous by showing up. And he was like, I can't. And we were like, all right, well, maybe we'll find a touring guitarist until you can. So until we're making enough money to where it makes sense.
I slid my way in there.
So you found a hole.
I found a hole. I stuck myself right in it, which was actually CD Jungle down in Mansfield. Shout out,
bro. I remember that show specifically so well. I made so many friends that night,
and it was a great show.
It was a great show.
Vibes were immaculate. But that's when Dan was like, "Hey," because Dan and I had played in bands, before, just jamming together because we were both loved Seosin so much. We just want to be in a band.
Rightly so. Doesn't everybody want to be Seosin? I still want to be Seosin.
They should be. But so he just knew I could play guitar. And he was like, "Hey man, we need a fill-in guitar player for touring. Would you be able to do it?" And I said, "Hell yeah." But then so we get in the band, and that was sort of like my introduction to this entire world that you kind of like led this episode with, of just like this, deep Fremont, Clyde, Northwest Ohio church youth group. Like you guys lived this world, and I had not been a part of it. And I kind of like walked into it, and you guys were just my friends. And like, that was really cool. And it actually really opened the door. And
I remember being so nervous too, because I knew that you were like somewhat of a neckbeardy atheist. I didn't know what neckbeardy meant back then, but yeah, you were joining a Christian band and didn't believe in God. And I was like, oh, that's we'll see how this goes. But I mean, he seems chill. I like him a lot. So
yeah, let's
just vibe it out.
Well, and fast forward, it really opened the door, and I started loving me some Jesus, and it really kind of put my life on a trajectory in a lot of positive ways. And we'll kind of get to where we are now, but so that's just sort of like the very, very generalized backstory of how JD and I have sort of amalgamated together in this Christian metalcore band in the mid 2000s. But before we do question number one, let's talk about Christian metalcore for a second.
Heck yeah.
Let's time out. Like something, I mean, I was always a fan of like metal. I was always a metal dude. I was a new metal kid in the 90s. Fucking loved, and I attribute all this to my oldest brother, Trevor. I ripped off literally everything from him. Even playing music, I just ripped it off from him because I just wanted to be like him. But he put me onto like heavy music, but like metalcore was mine. It was something that was like our age group and our world.
Like, it was so clearly new. Like nobody had taken this hardcore scene, which was existing, and this metal scene, and especially the Christian metalcore scene, but like nobody had put those things together in this way. So like once it started, it was just like, oh, the door's open for whatever we want in this corner when these two things come together. And it was like every new band had something new, fresh, some new exciting take, some new way to, like, dude, do you remember like early Norma Jean?
Yeah.
Or like even before then, like Living Sacrifice and Disciple and Striper, like there's a lot that led up to that, but like there was like a tipping point, I think, probably with Cornerstone.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that could be its own episode in that of itself. Just really all the ins and outs and lore around that festival, because so many bands lived and died.
Oh, absolutely.
By that festival. And specifically, it was like you said, there was like this. They took everything that was like before them and twisted it, and it was almost like it was more art forward. I mean, like they weren't necessarily as like out with like this is a Christian band. You were just like, who are these skinny guys wearing girl pants throwing their guitars around and screaming at me?
Yeah.
It's making me feel things. And it's Josh Scoggin, and he's hanging upside down, like a madman. But then it just turns out that he's praising the Lord. And that was just like almost like a byproduct. But the music was so good.
Oh,
and then like you just started to, seeing these bands and then discovering these bands. And then you're like, there's something in the sauce here where like when it's specifically Christian metalcore, it typically is kind of almost like this is kind of more high end metalcore.
It's a superpower.
Yeah,
I have a theory, not even a theory. I think I know why that is. I mean, metal is so extreme.
Yes,
but most of the bands that aren't Christian or religious or spiritual, which at the time that concept just doesn't compute. Especially, I mean, my parents and my grandma grew up to like, you can't play cards, you can't dance, you can't have your ears pierced, and here we are like tattooed skater.
All right, Footloose.
Thank you, POD, and for all the not metal bands that took it from. There's still churches that believe you can't play drums and like things like that. So I'm not saying all that, but it was a lot more common that like anything outside the norm was just not allowed. It was of the devil. It was wrong. But metal was always those like the outcasts. So there was a lot of passion in that, but it never really had a hopeful. I shouldn't say never, but like it didn't have that hopeful passion that specifically like the Pentecostal evangelical kind of Christian-y altar call forward type of dudes
right
put into these songs when it came to like metalcore. There was a different kind of passion. These are youth group kids that they're getting out all of their rage and all of their theology and all of their breakup guilt from their last relationship, and they're putting it in the song where they're going to turn it all to Jesus. And hopefully, I mean, we were kind of raised to believe that we were going to change the world, that we were like soldiers of the Lord, and that mindset went into like everything, especially anything we did that could be considered like a ministry. And
right, and that shit was contagious. Like when I walked into that, and you guys were like, no, yeah, we have a mission. And I was like, word. Like because especially, and this was so cool to see, and not to be like my parents didn't love me, because my parents definitely loved me, but
absolutely
they were not, and were ever really like, I mean, my dad eventually later on, but my mom definitely not on anything music, as far as my endeavors. But like your guys' parents were really bought in at first too, and you were like,
yeah,
and they were really sold on this, like, no, you guys are doing something. And as cheesy as it sounds, it felt like it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really
No,
like,
I
whether
I
we did anything or not, it felt important.
Yeah. It was like and to be honest, I attribute a lot of our success and a lot of the success of most Christian metalcore to that kind of mindset. And that, like, how many fans did we make? Not because we had the best songs and not because we were coolest on stage and had cool pants, but because we were like hanging out with the homeless guys on the street and talking to them and like sharing in this moment and really being like, oh, we're here, we play these songs and whatnot. We're doing it for a reason. There was a purpose, and that kind of drove how we behaved in the world. And it was nothing but a superpower when it came to how the band operated, I guess. And I think that's across the board. I think you see that in Norma Jean. I think you see that in Under Oath. I mean, one of the ways I got my parents to be okay with me listening to Christian metal was Under Oath. I think for a lot of people, because they had clean singing. They said the word Jesus, and they had that one song.
Will seek forgiveness.
That was the one.
That was the one. Of course, dude.
I was like, Mom, I worship better to this style. Like, do you hear? Like, it's reflective, and at the end, there's this passion, and this is worship.
We're just screaming the prayer.
And I still scream the prayer. You're just gonna drop that one on me, dude. Scream the prayer was. When the first Scream the Prayer flyer came out, I was just like, I got to be there. I got to be there.
Oh, yeah. Also, I'm a I'm now going to test out showing comments. Hold on.
Ooh, you can show comments.
Yeah. What was the concert in Cleveland or Columbus for Christian metal? I went once. So there
Like
was
a specific festival?
or just like venue. There were so many.
Oh, yeah.
There was,
Columbus specifically had Radio U, and there was a lot of like
yeah.
Christian metal and whatnot being broadcast there, and there was a lot of really good. I mean, Crimson Armada's from Columbus.
Yeah.
We had, dude, Ohio was such a weird. Not only
Right.
do we have like the Christian metalcore thing, just metalcore in this area. There, I don't know what's in the water. Hopefully, it's not whatever is in Flint. But you know,
But I mean that's part of like sort of the the fuel to wanting to pursue this podcast is kind of delving to like specifically like even like in the Midwest, specifically Ohio. It's like you said, it's like there was just so many fucking
and we're in
bands.
Northwest Ohio, right by Michigan. We came as Romans up there.
Yeah. And like you just go down 75, then you got Dayton, then obviously you got Prada, and then like even
Oh yeah.
even I'm pretty sure Attack, like when they first started out, they're like, oh, we're kind of a Christian band too. Like,
Yeah, no, I think they were for sure. I think they were. I mean, I don't know their entire story, but I think they were youth group kids who met
Yeah.
that way and started playing. Whether or not they claimed to be Christian, I think there was some undertones there, especially earlier on.
for sure. And so you have like all these corn-fed kids in the Midwest creating these bands, and then they just started fucking blowing up.
Yeah,
Like and that's where it's such as a excuse me, fascinating kind of history, specifically in this moment in time where out of just almost nowhere, specifically Ohio bands started just
yeah,
like becoming the biggest, not only Christian bands, but like the biggest metalcore acts. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, we can start doing that. Like it's becoming our market.
mm-hmm.
And so that being said, so we've kind of set the table here. You know,
Yes.
it's the mid 2000s. Everything is exploding in the Midwest, and it is just like, holy shit, I just joined you guys. We're running for it. We're feeling like I'm doing something. So let's start with the questions.
All right.
So, like I said, there's 3 questions. The first one, we're going to start with the heavy.
Okay.
And you can obviously, it doesn't have to be the literal worst experience you've ever had in this industry. Obvious, because if you're not comfortable, I'm not going to make you do stuff.
Yeah.
But
also, I've got bad memory, so I'm going to do my best here.
right. So I want to give a kind of like a full spectrum experience. So what would you say of all the experiences, whether it was a Settle the Sky or even because after Settle the Sky, you were a worship leader, you were doing a lot of things at the church. There were so many other things.
But you and I started another band before I was a worship leader.
Oh yeah,
we did that for a short spell.
A band called Convictions.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I remember that. I remember when we started that band.
I remember it was.
I
I mean, to be fair, I was not in for very long.
I was in for one album.
I think I did. I didn't even make it to the album.
You were there for all the demos.
All the demos and all the writing and all the kind of projecting. I helped it get off the ground, and then I was kind of like, I don't know. That time is also a time that I don't really remember. Convictions and then Legacy and I Am Legacy kind of all were happening at the same time, and I was also smoking lots of cigarettes and partying a lot, and just being a dumb 22, 21-year-old, however old I was at the time.
Also, can we just make that as a little just kind of button here? Is like we were fucking kids.
Yeah, we were teenagers.
We were kids doing this.
The album came out the year I graduated high school.
Yeah, and if you kind of look across the
first EP,
if you look across the board, everybody was young. Like they were babies. We were all babies out there going like, we're just gonna sleep in the van. God's got us. We'll figure it out.
That was our mindset.
Yeah. And so that being said, all the amalgamations, and I'm sure we'll dive into way more stories through these questions. What that you're willing to share is the worst experience you've had in this world?
More than anything, for me personally, I think it was just a lot of the judgment. I don't think there's one specific thing I can point to, but I think there was just an attitude. So it was Christian metalcore, but what flavor of Christian? Nobody ever really talked about that. How hard are we going? What are the rules? Are you allowed to cuss? Are you allowed to smoke? Are you allowed to what? We're not really aligned with a church. We're not like a church band. We're a Christian band, and we might be maybe consider ourselves a ministry. Most of us didn't. But I mean, a lot of bands were preaching on stage and whatnot and taking up time. But there was just this, it started out so positive. It started out with this passion. It started out with such acceptance. And somewhere along the way, as it started blowing up, judgment creeped in. Not only of like other non-Christian bands, but specifically between like Christian bands, like judging each other, not holding each other accountable, not trying to help each other out, not privately being like, hey bro, I've noticed that like you guys are doing this. I've been really praying for you. I'm sure that stuff happened as well. I don't want to detract from, because there was a lot of really positive, really cool people, but let's be honest, there was some hardcore judgment from between band members, and it was just the narcissism of, I mean, lead singer syndrome already kind of takes some people off the rail. You know, controlling a room, you kind of have to have that.
Right. You have
that
to have some
charisma,
bit of
that
psychosis.
Style. A little bit, yeah. You got to be a little nuts to think, oh, I can make this whole room fight each other, and we're going to call it a wall of death for Jesus or something. And we're in Albuquerque. Who knows? But yeah, there was so much judgment, and also like you said, we were teens. We were these innocent. Sure, we all like dove into like straight edge and all these different like subcultures that like kind of aligned with what our values and ideals were, but we had never lived those out in the real world. We had never had to say no to cigarettes when nobody's looking in an alleyway in some state you're not going to be in tomorrow at 2 a.m.
Right.
You know, or saying a curse word or doing these, who knows? But there was a lot of people figuring things out and just trying to live their lives and trying to be honest and authentic and doing their best. And there was just so much judgment and abuse behind the scenes.
Yeah. And that I'm glad you said that, because that was something I've been kind of churning over, and I was hoping to kind of delve into through these episodes is, again, coming from my perspective, as I came into the Christian metalcore and like ministry work. Like, I'll even go so far as to say we were doing ministry work a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. And even after the band, you know, I was a worship leader for a time and doing a lot of stuff at churches and stuff. So like I came into it as an outsider. And so seeing that, like, oh no, there's way many layers to this. And like, I remember being like, oh no, this person's a baby Christian, and then this person's over here. And it became like, I'm like, oh, you guys are like, this is high school all over again. Yeah. And, you know, I was never a drinker. You know, I'm not a big party guy. Never been. And that was not necessarily like a religious or like moral thing. It was just something I wasn't really into. Yeah. But like, I love the cigarette. You know, I love a Marlboro Red. You know,
especially after you just played a metal show and you're outside
and you're
cooling
sweaty
off and you just lifted everything into the fan.
Yeah. You know, and also like I love words, and I think words are funny, and saying fuck is really funny. Yeah. So like, it was such a strange world, and I'm spoiler alert, next week I'm having Marco from the Shallows.
Dude, yes.
He's going to be on the pod. And the thing I love about Marco is frick. Oh, frick. Yeah.
Oh,
literally.
Frick.
Hold on. Yeah, I got it. Somebody was like, oh, frick.
Oh, frick.
Yeah, there were so many, and I was cool with that. And because I'm always cool with accommodating the room. Like, if somebody is not comfortable with cussing and they tell me that, yeah, dude, I won't cuss. Not a big deal, man. Like, that's not a big deal.
And you've always been that way too. I remember specifically because we were a Christian band, we kind of had that discussion, like, should we cuss on stage? Should we cuss in front of fans? Should we do any of these things? And it was kind of like, we decided against it. And I remember specifically you telling me, like, it's not that there's anything wrong with it necessarily, but it reflects badly on us. And honestly, we just look more intelligent if we don't.
Yeah. You know, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And but like even when you're trying your best, like you really hit on something that was pretty huge, which is, again, we were not only we were kids, but we were also like developing as human beings. We're learning experiences, and this is sometimes when you learn, hey, sometimes I like a beer, like sometimes I like kissing girls, sometimes I like a cigarette or smoking weed, like it, and you're almost not allowed to grow up.
Not allowed to experiment. Not allowed to even try or any of those things.
What's up, Bethany?
Oh, hey.
Also, hold on. There was someone else that came in here. I got to shout him out. Remember Brock?
I do remember Brock. What's up, Brock?
What's up, Brock? What up, buddy?
I love that. No, Brock loves that we're doing this. I love that you're here, Brock.
Yeah, I love
that we're doing this. We talk. We do this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, off camera.
Now we're doing it for
I just
for you,
for y'all.
I'm gonna grab a sweater real quick.
Go grab a sweater real quick. While JD's getting something to warm up a little bit, I'll use this chance to plug. So we're obviously this is day 1, episode 1. So we're learning this. We're trying to grow this channel. So please, if you are liking what we are doing, hit that like and subscribe button, but also share with a friend. Also in the description, if you want to donate, since we don't have enough followership yet to be able to get like stuff like super chats to help support the channel, and like I really want to be able to like pay my guests and also get better equipment and also pay my bills.
For real.
So I do have my Cashapp and my Venmo in the description if anyone wants to donate. It's all just going to kind of go to this stuff and kind of making it better. But now that JD has his beautiful cardigan on, free.
Oh, thank you.
No, I want to go back to so I remember a specific experience with this. You may or may not remember, but do you remember there was a girl at a show? I can't remember what state or what show it even was, but she saw, I think it was either me or somebody else smoking outside by the trailer, and they returned a shirt because they were so upset that this Christian band.
That doesn't surprise me in any way, but I don't remember that one specifically. I do remember. I remember somebody seeing one of us smoking and like saying something or something like that, but I don't remember the shirt being returned.
It happened a lot for sure. Like it would, and that's sort of where the judgment that you were talking about really started. I think really started fucking with us. Especially because you're under a microscope.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're held to this expectation of like being holier than thou. And that wasn't necessarily the mission.
No. The
mission was like, hey, I love this thing. I want to share it, but also I want to be a human with you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you would try to be a human and people were like, well, no, you're doing it wrong. And also you're bad and you're going to hell.
It's got to look like this specific thing, or
wait a minute. That's not what I signed up for.
Not at all.
Yeah, that dude, that shit was brutal. And again, me on one hand, I can look at it from an outside perspective of like, yeah, I expected judgment from like the non-Christians, but what I know you'll know this.
Mm-hmm.
What we found out was it was the non-Christian bands that we got along with the best.
Yeah. And actually behind the scenes, and I don't want to like throw any ministry or church or business, and nobody's getting thrown under the bus here, but at the time that I was at the church that I was at and we started playing these shows, the church was always like behind us and like, oh yeah, like you said earlier, our family was really supportive. So was our entire church, our entire community.
Shout out Mike, by the way.
Yeah, that's
our bass player. That's our
right
bass
there.
player. That's
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike. I love you, buddy.
See you soon.
See you soon. But continue. Sorry.
I don't remember. My train is over there. What was the train? Oh yeah, the church. The church really supported us.
Yes.
Until we started playing places that served alcohol, which is like every concert venue. Period. It didn't matter if we were playing a Tuesday at 2 p.m. but because we were playing somewhere, they're like, oh, well, you can't do that and be on teams here at the church. And I was like, oh, okay, so there's going to be some weird judgment from the Christian. Like, I get like not going and drinking or not going and getting invested in that lifestyle. Like, sure, but that was never their argument. Their argument was, we don't even want you playing there if they serve alcohol. And I was like, but aren't you guys the ones telling us to go into the world and give the light? Why would we stay in churches where there's the light is preached every Sunday? Why would, if our music is this extreme and this dark, why would we not take this? And honestly, that's where the name Settle the Sky came from. It's like the whole dark and light aspect. And it was never really like, it was just a name that we thought sounded cool that Dan threw out last second at a show.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're Settle the Sky. And everyone's like, what?
We are?
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Because what was the original name?
Vicarious.
Vicarious, dude. I love Tool.
Which is a Tool song.
So
and
sick.
Also, if you say it into a microphone and you're sweaty and you're 15, what's up, we're Vicarious, is kind of what it sounds like. And for a Christian band, it wasn't really, not really the name we were going for. But
yeah.
So the church really supported us until it got real. And there were real people who really were interested in what we were doing in places that served alcohol and things like that. So there was not only judgment between the bands, but like, I don't know, it was just so weird being a 15-year-old youth group kid, 16-year-old youth group kid, and then having this music that had never been heard before just take off, and then have the whole world and yourself try to respond as you're maturing and growing. And I don't know that I hold a lot of this against a lot of these people, but at the time it was so odd and wild and exciting and terrifying.
I don't know. I mean, like, something that I've been trying to like grapple with this is, so I can understand where judgment can come from, sure, especially from the holier than thou types. But something that I felt like was like really frustrating was like, these are experiences for anyone, but especially people as young as we were. Like, I remember the first time, I can't remember the thing. I think this might have been in New York somewhere. I think this is the venue where you had crazy food poisoning and you're peeing out your butt. But
that doesn't narrow it down.
Do you?
I can think of at least 3.
Do you remember when we witnessed a dude doing coke off his like
Buffalo, New York?
It was a Buffalo. Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
pretty sure. I was wondering if that was the one.
Yeah, but yeah, it was like, whoa.
That was my first time ever seeing cocaine.
Right, and so like there's these real experiences where like, yo, and not having the grace to like recognize like we're also figuring this out. Like, we're also seeing shit for the first time too.
Yeah.
You know, Christian or not, like, we were 19 to 21-year-olds driving across the country for like 7 months nonstop, you know, just like going around, you know, and like seeing things, you know, like, in being hormonal teenagers and like wanting to rebel.
Booking our own shows too, like wanting to rebel, but like playing a church one night and then playing a club where somebody's doing cocaine in the green room the next night, and then the next night you're back at a VFW and a youth pastor is there who's like super cool, and just the wildest, staying at churches and meeting people there. That's the whole other side of it. Where did these Christian metal bands play? A lot of times it was VFW halls or DIY shows or some weird experimental youth group pastor who got something through the board and was able to throw a metal show and invite whoever.
No, you're literally unlocking a lot of things I think I had stored away.
Yeah,
I'm remembering. Were you remembering the compound where like we played?
I forgot about the compound.
I think it was like Missouri.
Did we play a cult?
So we played this church. Okay, story time. Before we get to question number 2, story time. So I think this is Missouri, or like somewhere in like lower Midwest. I think we were heading west. We played a church, and it was a nice church. And I can't remember if the promoter was the mom or if the promoter was this kid, and we stayed at his mom's house. But they were like, in hindsight, honestly, as I'm kind of like unpacking this, I'm like, man, we were really trusting.
Dude, we were so trusting.
We were just like, oh, you have a floor? Oh yeah, we'll sleep.
Well,
there.
do you remember back then there was a website that got put up for a little while called like betterthanthevan.com.
Yeah.
That was just like anybody who had like some floor space or a couch or an extra bedroom. It's like, it doesn't matter, it's better than the van.
You know, and there's we have so, and I'm sure in the future episodes we're going to dive into so many of those stories, like especially like, you know, staying at a place like up the road from like Ed Gein's cemetery where he dug up all the, you know, bones to make his cool furniture.
I was telling my wife about that one when we watched whatever it's called, Monster or whatever, the
the new Ed Gein movie.
Yeah.
Well, we were there, but like, so specifically at this compound, why we call it the compound, because it wasn't actually called the compound. But like,
it was a compound.
it was a compound. It was something like, so we play the show and it was cool, and the promoter's like, hey, you guys can stay with my mom, and we're like, sick, dude. And so we start following this kid and his mom.
I also remember like being like weirdly far away too. He was like, oh, it's like a mile or two down the road, and we like drove,
and it was
so
like a
long,
45-minute drive.
Where are we
it was
going?
out in the middle of nowhere, and it was gated.
Yeah,
and it was so out in this desolate area of the Midwest in the dark, and then it was nothing, and then this gated community, and then we followed them into this gated community, and nothing weird happened. To me at least.
I don't remember it. Maybe they Men in Blacked us.
But like, there was just such this weird, like, well, what's that term where there's like something is off and it's so subtle you don't know what it is, but like maybe like on somebody's face,
unnerving maybe, or uncanny.
Uncanny Valley. So like, there was something uncanny valley about this place, and specific with this mom, where there was just like something in the eye. You're like, something's not right here, and I don't know what
somebody's
it is.
not fully there.
Like, there's a closet full of baby fingers somewhere or something. But I remember that sleeping there because you guys were up all night talking with this lady, talking about like Jesus or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I fell asleep while in conversation, but while I was sleeping, I was continuing in the conversation.
I've been there.
That's the only part I really remember, was like, I was so tired and you guys were up talking with this lady so late. It was like 5 a.m, and I was.
That sounds right. That sounds like me.
Like, I was dead asleep, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, that makes sense."
I don't even know if I registered that you were sleeping.
Mike, if anybody in the band is in the chat right now, please validate me, dude. I feel.
Oh, I believe you, but
my girlfriend. Shout out to my girlfriend. She's
Hello,
in the
girlfriend.
chat. Also, Babyfinger, sick band name.
Oh, fantastic band name.
Hell yeah. I'm currently in her office right now. Look at this cool lamp. So that being said, so the worst experience while being in this industry,
the worst experiences for me was the judgment and like the lead singer syndrome that led to like a lot of, there was some hypocrisy and stuff as well, like people that were claiming to be a Christian band, but then, and this is going to sound like it's coming judgmental for me, so maybe I'm the judgmental guy, but who knows?
Hey, we're opening this shit up right now. Fuck it.
I just mean there were people who clearly, like, I feel like Settle the Sky, are, at least for us, our motivation, even when we didn't hit the mark or whatever, if we like were being dumb teenagers, we were always trying our best to truly like minister to people and give hope, and we really believed this Jesus message, and we love this music and we love these songs, and that was what we were there for. And then there were other bands who were noticing that there was a trend and there was money and there was kind of a power and a bravado that came with being a successful Christian metalcore band, and that
it started
oversaturating,
and everybody wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And then you started really kind of going, oh, this dude's just trying to get pussy.
Yeah.
This dude's just trying to get laid.
Oh, and some of them, that's the other side of it, like purity culture
Yeah.
in evangelical and Pentecostal, a lot of us were virgins or trying to be virgins or trying to be
Right.
secondary, whatever language we were using, because we wanted to save our bodies, which are a temple for the Lord Jesus Christ, for marriage. And then you put us in a van and send us out on the road, and then there's a bunch of really beautiful girls who love your songs. It's like,
What do you do?
and those guys, a lot of the guys in our scene ended up in like weird, abusive, scandalous, treating women terribly or treating themselves terribly. Yeah, I mean, this is a lot to get into, so let's not get into all of it, but just there was just that general, that was across the scene.
Yeah.
So there were bands that members were leaving and you didn't really know why, and then some things were coming out on Twitter, and then there was the whole "Is Anyone Up" thing, and Hunter Moore and all that fun stuff. And it completely went off the rails so quickly.
Yeah. And it really, especially when you're labeled Christian,
and people expect a certain
like,
thing from you.
You also had sex with a person? That's so disgusting, dude. How dare you?
I also remember, like, if you didn't say Jesus enough on stage, some places would like get upset at you if you were Christian.
Yeah.
Say Jesus, say Jesus. It's like, why? I'm not against it, but like, it didn't seem appropriate right now.
I feel like my dynamic is going to be like, because as you're saying these things, I'm getting hit with like almost like flashbang memories.
Yeah, same.
Specifically
I'm
around
so sorry
you.
for anybody listening. That's just like, our brains are just like,
it's ADHD, baby. Let's go. But well, I do find they can listen to it. I think it's pretty interesting.
Okay, then I'm having fun.
They're here. They're hanging out. We got people watching. It's fine.
Hello.
But like when you're talking about like the they're not saying Jesus enough on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I had a flashbang of a moment. We were playing the Star in the East in Canton, Ohio.
Dude, I love that venue.
It was huge. It was a big venue.
It was huge. I loved it, but it was also like weird because we did pack it out that one time, but it was always sorry. I'm gonna turn I'm recording right now in my bedroom, and my wife is going to sleep, so I'm gonna turn off her light real quick.
Turn off her light. Oh, he's using that Google Home.
Yeah, I might get rid of it. I don't know. Anyways,
but yes, Star in the East.
Cool venue.
Excuse me. Great venue. Always came with the hot and readies.
Dude, every venue came with the hot and readies back.
Well, that was our rider, dude. That was
our rider was $50 for the entire band to eat, and everybody said, "Cool, well, hot and readies are $5, so 10 hot and readies, please."
So at this specific venue, we headlined this particular night, and before we went on stage, one of like the youth pastor or aspiring youth pastor kids gave like a blessing before we went on stage, and it was the most painful, like anti-gay like, do you remember this where he was like he was fumbling it really bad?
Because honestly, back then I probably was pretty anti-LGBTQ myself, because that's kind of how I was raised. I mean, I always had gay friends. I went to a public high school, and I had some family members and whatnot that came out, and I always had nothing. I was always just down to hang. I loved.
This might have was a later show, because I remember that you were even jarred by this, where he was just so fumbly. It was a turn and burn sort of message, but it was supposed to him like this was so. If we're like if we were doing stand-up comedy, the person who was before us that kind of was giving the pep talk was like the host, and he was just kind of trying to warm up the crowd, but he was trying to warm up the crowd with like, and we just love you, and if you're here and you're gay, and I don't want you to go to hell. So and I remember vividly, like, all of us like sitting like behind the curtain going like, fuck. Oh no, he's blowing it. No. and like, that was unfortunately some of the demographic that you walk into is unfortunately, when you're in the world of Christian music and the Christian industry, you're going to have the bigots. You're going to have the anti gay and like
The people who are given a
anti-trans.
very narrow
Yeah.
theology and a very narrow worldview and think that it's their
Right.
job to change the world to theirs rather than learn and love and grow and mature.
Dude, yeah. And so like it was almost this game of like it was never enough or it was too much.
Yeah.
It
Felt that way too, not only because of the Christian side, but also like the metal side. We were never metal enough for the metal shows. We were never hardcore enough for the hardcore shows. We were never Christian enough for the Christian shows. We were never secular or whatever enough for the regular show. It was just, it didn't matter where we were always an outcast in one way or another. But I think that's kind of what made it fun in a lot of the ways. We're like, what can we do now?
Yeah, I mean that was sort of like maybe like the competitive fire in it. I was like, fuck it, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think, and fast forward, it was kind of almost the downfall of our band, where we were like, oh, we'll try to evolve with the times, and kind of imploded. But that being said, the worst part, judgment. But now we're going to go question number 2. What was your best experience? Let's liven it up a little bit. What was like the most positive experience that you can recall being in this world?
Yeah, there's so many of those too. So I know we're going to get into like where we're at and whatnot now, but I was raised Christian, and then I deconstructed from Christianity and kind of became an atheist and cringy. I think I was even I was a Satanist for a little while.
Yeah, you dabbled in some devil stuff.
I had a little dabbled, but I mean the Satanic Temple and their tenets and kind of what they were doing politically at the time. I was kind of like
pretty sick.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it was cringy and hot topic-y, but it was, I was where I was, and I was, yeah. So spent some time hanging out there for a little while, and now I'm kind of on a more mystical, coming back to Jesus in a lot of ways. In other ways, not, because look around. There's a lot going on with the name Jesus that I want no part in, but. The reason I was telling you this, ADHD, give me a second. Best experiences. I've always been intimately aware of the Spirit. Whatever words you want to give to whatever that is, but this like kind of animating energy that's between us that is positive and loving and healing and hopeful. That especially shows up. You'll notice it a lot at like live music or things with lots of vibrations and where heartbeats can sync and we can breathe together. All these things. There were just so many times where there were so many people just being so genuine about wanting to be there for each other and wanting to help each other through like depression or a breakup or whatever family issues they were going through or having literally no money, serving people, like just all of that kind of stuff in the scene, I think was so prevalent. There were these bad things that happened that caused things to get weird and implode, but that was the outlier. What was happening? Right. The reason Christian metalcore was blowing up, going back to that passion that Norma Jean and these pioneers of this scene had, it's that spirit, that putting those like worship chords and that slow build and just singing the same thing over and over again until the whole room is united. And that's when you go into the breakdown, have this release. And you literally had people who came in living their lives one way and walked out and completely went a different direction. Whatever you want to call that, when you're saving people from literal suicide and just deep, dark depression, and there was no words for that we got to experience almost nightly in one shape or another with these bands that were doing it playing with like For Today and like Plea for Purging and like these bands that were like in our world. I know they're like kind of nobody.
Speaking of For Today, sorry,
where we played with For Today, Star in the East.
No, we played with
Inhale Exhale.
Inhale Exhale. That was
Which I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this. Isn't Ryland from Inhale Exhale? Isn't he now with Attack Attack? Isn't he their singer now? I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. We're the keepers of the crab, actually.
Crab core, baby.
We were there before they were, so I don't even want to say anything. But no, but you bring up another fantastic point, which is you have this juxtaposition where on one hand you're kids and you're growing up and you're seeing so much of like the dirgy, rough shit in the world, and like growing up in front of, you know, a very Christianized microscope, but then also you on the flip are experiencing the most miraculous, beautiful, tear-jerking, life-changing moments for people, and they're like crying and holding you, going like, I fucking hate God, but like your guys' set has me fucking in shambles. Like, and that was a Tuesday.
Yeah,
it was a Tuesday, and so
Tuesday
you're
at a VFW in a small town,
and so you just kind of like walk out of that, and you're kind of like, we're not that good. we're kind of bad, and somehow through
we learned drop D
doing,
a few months ago,
right? Like for some reason, like what we were doing that particular night, and I knew there would be some nights where you would be a little less vocal, but then there were some nights where you were real, like you were saying, you were very sensitive to the room. You're very sensitive to the movement of what we call the spirit.
Yeah.
Which I think there's validity to still,
Spirit,
whether you want to call
energy,
it
charisma. There's different ways to understand it. We can make it more
very thick
religious or
atmosphere. Yeah, but there was a substance of some kind, and it really moved people, and sometimes it would really move you. I mean, there was countless times in all the lineup changes of all the variants of degrees, I saw so many bandmates, you know, like in tears on stage, because this is a really emotional experience. So you're having,
I think,
this crazy black and white experience of like the lowest lows, and now this incredibly miraculous heavenly highs.
The one I remember most actually ended up, so this one I was able to use this experience and actually kind of replicate it again in a totally different scenario. We were, I don't think we played the show, but I think we were hanging out with the For Today guys. I think it was at the Attic in Kettering.
Oh, that's a name.
And this is when David Puckett played drums for them, that we met with when he played for Crimson Armada. He was now the drummer of For Today, and I don't think we played, but I think we went to go hang and go see those guys and see how they were doing. And they were having some technical issues or something. I don't remember what song we ended up singing, but like the lights went out, and it was like in the middle of like the biggest part of it. I think it was it Scream the Prayer? It might have been a Scream the Prayer. I'm not sure.
It was definitely Scream the Prayer.
Okay.
2008.
And this was not like faked or anything. Like this was just, you know, they were getting ready to play a show, and then the lights go out, and the whole crowd. I don't remember who started it or how it started, but it just like erupted and just like singing. And it was a For Today song, some chorus that was real worshipful and real positive, and we all just like, I think the rest of the show almost like
Lord of glory.
Was it that song?
Maybe
it might have been. I think I found it on YouTube. If I find it, I'll send it to you, and we'll drop it in the description. But just this moment where like it should have been the end of the show, because the mics weren't working, the lights were out, things weren't, and it was like the best moment, because we all just started singing together, and the band responded to that. So by the time the lights and everything did come back on, like they didn't even start playing for a while. We just like sang for a little bit together and prayed together, and then they played like a song or two, and like, all right, good night. Yeah, and then I think Maylene and the Sons of Disaster had to come on afterwards and be like,
well, dang it.
Well, dang.
well, shoot.
No, but there was just tons of moments like that where people just turned something negative into something positive and showed up for each other, and that happened all the time. And that's my favorite part about being in the Christian metalcore scene, was showing up for people, serving people, and seeing just these weird happenstance things just become so positive and healing, and setting people free from some really nasty stuff.
And it was so fucking crazy to me, because I'm coming in with outside, you know, like this isn't stuff I never went to church. I was never, you know, like the times I went to church, I was forced to as a kid to do like the one Sunday a year, you know, like so like then going from like nothing to do this is happening almost every night on some occasions. it was such a and it really had a hand in converting me
Yeah.
pretty quickly, because you're like, oh no, this is okay.
And I think you specifically, as somebody coming in as an outsider, as somebody who doesn't believe, I think you were just able to see not only what was happening, but how genuine it was.
Yeah, it wasn't performative, which going back to the negative stuff, like it was, and a lot of, excuse me, I got a lot of acid reflux today. It's the damn Sprite.
That's okay. I'm just straight chugging water over here.
I
I
should
just
be
came
drinking
from a
water.
family Thanksgiving.
See, yeah, you gotta water that down. But now ADHD train, pew pew, it's gone.
Yes. Oh, but we were
Um,
talking just about like,
oh,
I shared that Florida Day story of how that, and
yeah, okay. So it was like
performative.
I was so worried about things being performative, and eventually, yes, I think a lot of things started becoming performative, even in our own band,
Oh
because
yeah.
you wanted to appease people. And it was so, but there was obviously negative
Yeah.
performative versions, later on, of people who were just like, oh no, we're just trying to get laid or whatever. But like the times that it wasn't a thing and it was just organic, it was the most life-changing shit ever. And
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That you can't refute it. Like whatever belief system you got, like you can even cite it as like almost the power of music. But like the fact of the matter was, people were moved, you were moved, I became moved, like, and especially when I was a baby Christian, and I'm being now held to the standard of leading prayers, like something
Yeah.
I would. And for those who know me in my personal life, I am an anxious boy, and I don't want to do that shit for nothing. But like it is such a tangible, moving thing that even nervous Nelly me was like swept up in it, and I was really. There's so many moments of um, like I remember playing down in New Mexico at Las Cruces, New Mexico, I think, at that church. Like I remember, like again, one of those situations. Kid comes up to the merch table and is like crying. Is like, oh my god, like that was crazy. And can you pray for me? I'm going through some stuff right now. And he asked me personally. I'm the rhythm
Yeah.
guitar player. Like I play one lead the entire set, and and I don't even do it right. But like, so he's coming to me and he's like, I want you to pray with me. And I was like, what? And then like, so you go from that high, and then you go like a couple hours later, you find out someone else in one of the touring bands got a hand job in the bathroom during your set. So it's like this full spectrum experience of like,
very much so.
I'm crying and praying for this person, and all the while this dude's getting jacked off.
Yeah.
Like, what were we doing?
We had no idea. We just got
God.
some guitars in a van and said, all right, we're blowing up on MySpace a little bit. Let's just keep this train rolling. Let's do it.
Let's do these things. So negatives, judgment, positives, just those kind of life altering moments, and serving people, and like being in not a BS kind of way, but like a genuine, like, dude, we are 1,200 miles away from home.
Yeah.
We got nowhere else to go. I'm here with you. Like, let's be in it together. Like,
I wrote some songs.
That's a really good
on a
answer.
piece of
I love
paper in my bedroom at my mom's house, and now I'm here in Texas singing it with you. And
that's crazy.
That's the whole thing. We're here to do this, and this song changed my life because I was going through something, and now it has an opportunity to change yours. And I just want to explore that and hang out. And I specifically remember that one. Do you remember the show in, I think it was Texas, and it was at a VFW, and we weren't expecting it to be good, and then it was like packed.
Angry Black Man Productions.
Yes. Is that the one where I broke your guitar?
No. So you'd broken my guitar a long time ago when I wasn't even in the band. Ryan broke his bass headstock on my jaw.
Oh, that's what it was.
That.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. He also broke my nose one time.
I don't think I remember that one.
And that because it wasn't on stage, it was in the van. Like he had
yeah.
moved his head up real fast, and I was like trying to talk to Dan in the front seat, and why?
But I specifically remember being
Oh,
at
yeah,
that Texas show, and that was like my first realization of like how far away from home I was, and like I think we were singing, it was either Cheyenne or Gunslinger, but the entire crowd was singing it back to me. And that was like the first time that had happened.
Yeah, dude.
Like outside of
Chills.
like, a Fremont show or like with our friends and family and like people that know us or know of us. This is like, we're in Nowheresville. We're far from
Wichita
Falls.
Ohio.
Yeah, Wichita Falls.
Don't be a Wichita.
I remember that moment of just being like, oh, that moment in my parents' bedroom that I wrote down and now created into a song is still having the same powerful effect with these people here. There's really something to whatever this is that we're doing. Like we need to keep doing this. And
dude, kind of keeping back on that in that show in particular, so a fun little backstory with this show. Like you said, we weren't expecting anything because we were driving to this venue, and anybody who's never been to Texas, the old Tejas, it is what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't want to undersell how insane these drives were because you would have 4 to 5 hour stretches where there was nothing. It was desolate desert, nothing. And it was
flat, no trees,
flat,
no
cactus.
Buildings.
Like it was ominous and it was dark. And so we were heading to this show that was at a VFW hall. And this is back in the days when you had a TomTom.
TomTom GPS, and you booked your own tour, and you had no idea if the promoter
wasn't really accurate.
Were you going to come to a show with literally nobody, or were you going to come to a packed house? We kind of every day was a gamble.
So the fun thing about this particular show that I'm remembering was we almost like gooned ourselves a little bit because the TomTom took us to it was a VFW show, so we went to the VFW hall and it was empty. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And I think was it Mickey or somebody ran inside and it was just like one old guy inside there and he was like, "What are you guys doing here?" And he was like, "We have a show." He goes, "There's the other VFW hall about 3 miles up the road you want to go to. It's not this one." And we were like, "Oh, okay." So we're like, "Oh, fuck, this is gonna be a mess."
That's gonna be terrible.
And we drive down the road for a couple miles, and then it was like out of a movie, like 500 cars in the middle of nowhere, like a field, like 500 plus cars, and just one VFW hall. And we walk in, and it's this giant, beautiful black man. I hate that I don't remember his name, but his production company, he ran the show, and his band played.
Productions.
Angry Black Man Productions.
ABM.
His band played. They fucking ripped. They sounded like Killswitch Engage, and they ruled. He had a beautiful voice.
Killswitch rules.
Also, he procured a barbecue pulled pork catering for the bands.
I remember that.
And I was like, this is incredible. Like, obviously we were eating like shit.
If this podcast somehow gets out to that dude from ABM Productions, A, hit us up. We need some more barbecue. But B, like, you were just your band ripped. That venue ripped.
You were the
sound was good.
I still think about you. like
we played some like bigger shows, bigger festivals. We played some tiny shit. Like this was just a VFW hall, and that dude just had the vibes from top to bottom.
The vibes were immaculate, and like he was like doing like 30 jobs, and he was always like the in between host, and he'd be like hyping up the crowd. And he was the dude that was like, "Spartans!"
Yeah,
and the whole
crowd,
like 600 people just going.
I bet that's how everybody feels when they come to Ohio and say like OH.
And like just almost like cultish. And and dude, yeah, like that was such and that again, that was the name of the game. Like it was almost like this gamble where you're like playing in front of the sound guy, or you're playing to 700 people at a random middle of nowhere VFW. I love how I'm like throwing more numbers, extra 100 every time. It was like 800 people.
It's like there was like 900,000 people.
Yeah, realistically, it's about 500 people.
Yeah.
If I'm keeping it a buck, but like, yeah, that was insane. But let's finish the questionnaires.
Absolutely.
We'll go question number 3, and you kind of already alluded to it. So again, the purpose for those who are just joining in, because we've had quite a few people watching, and people hit in the chat. Appreciate y'all.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, gang? But the purpose of me starting this podcast and specifically wanting you as my first guest is, again,
I appreciate that, man.
I want a full spectrum of just like having a conversation of the stuff that we went through, but then also we're not that anymore. We're not there. It's not 2006. We're in 2025 coming into 2026. So now that we are at our age now, in the lives now, looking back on the dark, on the positive, on all these things, where are you feeling it now? How are you today? Like, what is, like, once you've had distance from both the good and the bad, when you look back on all these experiences, what do you feel?
So looking back on the experiences, I feel mostly great. I had a pretty positive experience. I wasn't judged too harshly. I didn't have too much of the abuse stuff hit my home or hit any of my relationships too much. Most of the things that I experienced were pretty positive. I really enjoyed my time. I mean, obviously there were some shady folks and some shady moments, but for the most part, I had a great time. My big qualm with Christian metalcore was more the hypocrisy, the judgment, the weird, like those having a host who's just gonna out of nowhere be like, and if you're gay, you're going to hell, and be like, what?
Amen. And also,
it seemed like there was this underground, vibrant, organic DIY thing, people praying in the streets thing, just kind of emerging out of the world, just like this thing that just needed to happen. And then it kind of tried to get systematized and tried to get put into these, and it kind of fell apart there for me. But where I'm at now, like I look back on most of that positively, but with like, man, a lot of it was so corny, so cringy, and so so bold of us to think that at 16 that what we had learned in youth group was going to be enough to change the world. And like we've shown in a lot of ways it did, because we were so genuine and so, I don't know, trusting and dopey little teenagers. But once we started to kind of like systematize it and try to get into like I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say, but like towards the end there, when bands were being very performative, it was just so like you can't. Maddie, not that I want to.
For today, Maddie.
No, Memphis May Fire.
Oh,
and he's caught some heat for this on the internet before. And Maddie, we've actually met the dude. He's a decent dude, pretty cool, pretty chill.
When he's not drunk. Okay, yeah. I shouldn't say that loud.
Edit that one out.
I'll have to get that one out because we had one kind of not great experience.
No, but
go ahead.
I think Maddie from Memphis May Fire said like something along the lines of like being the voice of a generation, which was not uncommon language for us youth group kids, because we were told by pastors and stuff that we're the voice of a generation. We need to go out and change the world. But then we took that that ego, that big-headedness, and said things like that to people who weren't familiar with that kind of language and not familiar with this ministry and worldview, and then we try to do it in bars with bands like Killswitch, and it's just like what is something it what came from like this honest, raw, organic, emerging thing to this like shoehorned into everything else and just like, this is starting to get sticky and gross and doesn't seem as
Yeah.
authentic and real. And I don't know that there was like a clear dividing line, but it just started to trend that direction.
Well, I think so. And as you're talking about it, and I think I'm just going to kind of keep developing this because you know me.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy who has it, I was born with the tinfoil hat
Absolutely.
implanted on my head. So I always have some kind of conspiracy somewhere kind of in my brain meat. But specifically with this, kind of with what you're saying with what it became eventually in the later years and that was I think you even had this in your post earlier, about the stream tonight of just like the downfall of everything of
Yeah.
what happened. And I think what happens is we live in a system where it's it's just that it's systematic and it becomes this like horse for capitalism. And you're like, oh, we need to sell, oh, we need to, because at the end of the day, like a lot of times, I think this is the downfall of a lot of industries, but specifically creative industries, is the almighty dollar. Well, I need to make money.
Yeah.
I got to make money doing this. I gotta sell this. I gotta make this a product. And so I remember, and this is one of the things that it'll probably end up being a bit through this podcast because I'm probably gonna bring it up a lot because I still got some fucking feelings about it. Was the like very end of Settle the Sky, like 2010 era. When we were on this tip where like, okay, we need to not make the music we've been making. So we need to change that. And also we all need to do P90X and look hot and like be fit and be sellable. And that's when it really kind of like exposed that world of like, this is cornball. Ew, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's not, and that was sort of like why I know that was our intention of why we created Convictions.
Yeah.
Was because we were like, okay, how about we don't do the Mr. Cool Guy thing and we get back to the heart of worship. And
that's really, I remember the entire idea for Convictions was that all we wanted to do was just aggressive worship.
Yeah, not
we
being
just want
like
to make this music, this style, and we want to show up in the rooms with people, and we want to do whatever that is. We want to do that.
Yeah,
so let's
like
drop
really,
the show, let's drop the facade, let's make the music that we want to make for fun, and then go do it in rooms with people that want that same thing, that aggressive worship style.
Look what happened. And we eventually fell into the same thing. And why I had my falling out with that band was it turned into the same machine of like, well, we need to do more. We need to get more money. We need to do more tours. We got to do it. And so you change your sound. You change how you look. You change how you sell yourself. And you're like, oh, this is cornball. And and that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate that you kind of like put a light on that of like, you're looking back on it now and you're like, you're being able to look at things in a positive light, even some of the negative experiences, because it almost like that darkness almost emboldens the light that was there. But then I really appreciate that you're having the full spectrum of being able to realistically look at, okay, there was some of that was okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I mean I'm probably gonna end up clipping this at some point where I'm just like, every time I have like a well, actually like neck beard moment where like it was very easy for me to like
have Trevor draw it up, put it on a t-shirt.
What's that?
Have Trevor draw it up and put it on a t-shirt.
Oh, there you go.
I'll wear it.
But it's very easy for me to look from a non-religious perspective because I'm agnostic at this point. I do love Jesus still in the sense of like, I love that spirit. I love love, I love caring. I love kind of giving the shirt off your back. I love that still. I want to do that. And so I still, in my begrudgant moments, in my little bit more cranky moments, I do fall into that edgelord, like, well, the whole thing was just kind of corny anyway. But then that also kind of remissed a lot of the beautiful moments that we experienced. You know, a lot of the genuinely life-changing, not only for other people, specifically it was life-changing for me. And I know you changed a lot. You know, we all grew up together, really, living in a van.
Very much so.
Being stinky and looking at each other's wieners every day.
Oh, so stinky too. Specifically, after we went to I think it was Virginia Beach, and then threw all the clothes in the trailer, and it was like midsummer, and just that whole trailer just smelled like King Triton.
Literally, it was just the most diabolical fucking
King Triton's dirty
butt
diaper.
smell. Butt smelled. Oh yeah, it was tight. It was King Neptune's dirty diaper.
Yeah,
it was vicious. But hell yeah. So we are at an hour 25. So what I'm gonna kind of use the rest of this time, what we're gonna do, we're probably gonna hang out for a little longer if you're cool with that.
I'm down.
Before I kind of go through some of these comments here, because I think we have a couple things. Well, actually, let's do that now. Let's show this here. All the Pontifex shows in Rice Township and the Lighthouse in Finley. Get Out of Town Fest at Zach's house. Good local venues at the time. Such good times.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite things about especially this early scene was like those venues that he just named. For people that don't know, aren't venues. They're just places that we decided we're going to start throwing shows here.
Yeah, what an Oregon Trail
called a township hall.
Were,
like, hey, can we just rent your township hall and have a hardcore show for no reason
for like $200?
Like $200, and like only 30 kids are going to come, and we're going to have a blast.
And so that's not to be old man yelling at clouds again, but like I genuinely, you know, because obviously the kids are still doing that stuff today, and I will not dismiss that. I absolutely understand that is still prevalent. But you know, you're going to be a little bit more biased towards your era, and I really believe that like local shows and how we did it, specifically in Ohio.
Well, I think how we did it, but also like you said, kids are doing that now. I think we just need to continue to like be scrappy. Don't accept the system for what it is. If there's not a good venue, cool. Make one.
Period.
People want to hang out. People want to have fun. People want a reason to not just sit around and do nothing and get into another doom scroll or whatever. People want to get out of their house and do something. It's
shows
up to us
are sick
to make a reason, and not just music. Like if you do art or you just want to start a book club, like whatever doesn't exist needs to be made by someone. And we always kind of had that DIY punk rock, like, oh, there's not a venue. Okay, well, we're gonna play a graduation party, and then we're gonna rent this township hall.
Literal backyards.
Like at my cousin Andrea's house, we played. I don't think you were in the band back then. Back when we were 15, 16, playing like friends' birthday parties.
Oh yeah, dude. I not in Settle the Sky, but definitely a lot of my high school metalcore bands.
Yeah.
Back patios. You know, a lot of graduation parties, but also like I remember when Fish fucking rented a hall
Fish Fest at the fairgrounds,
Sandusky County Fairgrounds. Like I shit you not, I discovered, me and my high school best friend Adam Willer, like we, shout out Adam, we like witnessed like one of our favorite local bands. There was a band called The Futile, and that eventually became.
I don't remember their music. I remember the name.
They eventually became a band called Seizures. But they were like this like math rock grindcore band, and when they were The Futile, they had a keyboard player who had like this mini Moog. He had like this little keyboard like synth, and he played it sometimes. But the 98% of the time he was skanking to like this crazy mathcore music. Like, and then I remember playing Rock the Boner. on Fangboner Road in Fremont.
Yep.
Nate Dickman's backyard and
Yep. Rock the boner.
Playing like Zach's house, the Lighthouse, which was a church in Findlay, and like the Rice Township Hall. Like you said, be scrappy. Like if that is like one thing I also want to endorse for today, for people who do end up listening to this or watching this, on whatever platform it ends up on. Like if you are a creative, if you are a musician, if you are somebody who maybe doesn't have like necessarily the ability, but like maybe just like you're not inclined to be musically talented, but like you love music. Like even our friends who couldn't play an instrument, like I remember Beans, Ben, he booked shows. He was like, no, I'm gonna be a promoter. And he got he loved it.
Yeah.
You know, like do that stuff. Like be scrappy, find a backyard, find a basement, get back to doing that stuff.
Start a production company called ABM Productions and throw a big show with a barbecue.
If you're an angry black man, you like doing some production, start it again, dude.
That's kind of, not to get into the being scrappy, where I'm at spiritually now, there's not really a word or a name for it yet, at least not the one that I found, not one that makes sense to me. So I'm just kind of being scrappy and just making it up, and I'm writing about it.
Figuring it.
Trying to write a theology and write a book about my spiritual backstory.
That's right.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
You are currently curating your own theology.
Yes, sir. I figured I've seen some things, and I've started learning a lot. I'm learning biblical Hebrew right now. I've been studying ever since I deconstructed my faith. I haven't put the Bible down. I've been really upset with Christianity and with commercial church culture and where Christian metalcore went. There's like a lot of things behind this. I'm just like, man, but I know that those experiences of transcendence that we had meant something, and I know that there's something to this Jesus story, and everything else sucks sometimes, but that one won't let me go. And I got to figure out what that is, and I got to give it some language. So I'm writing theology to kind of give what I think that is.
Well, do you have a website? I mean, you have like a live, like a blog spot, don't you, or something like that?
Yeah. It's a WordPress website. Just thewayofthesource.com.
Thewayofthesource.com. I'll add that to the description after the episode. But
that's just a place for my writing, and for me as I'm figuring this out, as I'm writing books and doing all these things, that'll all end up over there. But yeah, I'm just kind of taking that mindset of being scrappy, and like this thing that I know should exist, I can't find anything for it, so I'm just gonna figure it out and do it.
Figure it out. So we got a couple more comments I'm going to kind of sift through here, and then I do have kind of one thing I want to show you before we kind of end the stream.
Oh yeah.
But again, thanks for everyone, because we've had people hanging out the entire time, and I really appreciate that.
This has been really sick. This has been really cool. I'm really excited for Core Confessionals. I love the name. I love the idea. I can't wait to see who
I just want to open it up,
what all comes out of this.
Talk stories, but also kind of get a perspective of what you've been through.
Because like my experience has been pretty positive. Like getting back to the questions in the main part of the podcast for just a second. Yeah. I'm also Caucasian and straight passing, and I was in a ministry family where I was looked highly upon by peers, and everybody expected me to do good. So yeah, I had a great experience. Not everybody had that experience though, and I had to see their experiences too, and be alongside those people. And those were people I love and care for and pray for and still hang out with. And so while this has been like my experience was mostly pretty cool, I know that there's a lot of other people that had much worse experiences than I did.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And again, that's also kind of why I wanted. I know I've said this many times. I'm not only doing this for like my own kind of like trying to rediscover this stuff and kind of figure it out, but I also I wanted to create this for those people, like who have maybe not so great experiences, and maybe like you can turn it around, and then maybe people who have like just only incredibly positive experiences, kind of give them a perspective of like, I love that you experienced so much positivity, but like let's kind of delve into the awareness of like let's talk about maybe the not so easy stuff, because I think it is not only purposeful, I think it's helpful to give a full rounded spectrum of this real niche, powerful time in history. Because again, I'm not gonna lie, dude, we're a lot older now, and we listen to a lot of different musics now. But like, I'm not much of a metal guy anymore. But like lately,
Depends on the day for me.
I've been getting the itch a little bit, you know.
Mhm.
And like, I'll go back and I will listen to like old Zayo and old Sleeping Giant, you know, and like and be like, oh yes, this
Yeah.
is really incredible. But there's a couple other comments I really I want to show here. This is just sick. I love you, Brock. But when I had my catering company, my brisket sandwich was called the Gunslinger after your guys.
Wait, there was a gunslinger sandwich? I'm
Brock,
vegetarian now, but if you make me a brisket sandwich, I'll eat meat for you, Brock.
I absolutely eat meat, and I love a brisket sandwich.
Mm.
And I would love to try the Gunslinger sometime. I will. Roll
I should say
through.
I'm trying to not eat meat. I haven't for a few months.
How you gonna be a man and not eat meat?
Eat fruits mostly. And eggs.
I was sorry. I was trying to be sarcastic bigot there for a second. Like, we're about steak.
It's there still. You can have
it's
it. It's
there,
there, I suppose.
All right, let's look at this here. Brock was like, I remember when Standby reached out to ODV, you guys told us not to sign with them and that you paid for a petting cage to your office. I'm surprised this didn't get brought up. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Oh my
Yeah. That was a weird time too.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to delve into the details of that, but yes, the Standby
record labels and
situation
money and
was not great. And we came into and this was not indicative of Nick Moore. He was way out of the picture at this time. So
yeah,
he was gone. He was doing his own thing at that point. But the person who shan't be named, who took over, we discovered that the reason why we weren't receiving any royalties for, especially, I mean, not the pat ourselves,
not even just
on the
royalties.
back,
I think they were like withholding like
merch sales.
Yeah, merch and stuff for us to sell.
Which we were moving. We were moving
merch.
And I remember submitting sound scans from the road. We sold merch. We did crazy sales and we saw not a dime. And we ended up going on a tour and we were out of merch and our label was like, we're not going to talk to you. And we're like, we need to pick up some merch. So we went to their office and we discovered that the owner had installed a batting cage
in
his fucking office. And we're like,
and now like when we say batting cage in his office, it wasn't his office. It was in the Standby office. And it was like, this was a big office in downtown Cleveland and it was a huge batting cage. I was impressed.
It was in a giant warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
It was like in an industrial park and it had like 20 stories and he had like the Lava Room recording studio was there and there was a studio called the Jungle.
Yeah, that's why I recorded with a Castle Grayskull, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And but like we were just like, oh, that's where that went.
So that's how this is going now. This is how the labels views us. All right, nice.
All right, hold on. Brock said he sent me the picture of the brisket. Hold on, let's see if I can put this on the camera here. Because I don't have Messenger on this laptop, so this is gonna be rough. Let's see if it.
Oh, dude!
Look at that beauty! Look at that beauty, brother. I love that. Love you, Brock. Also, okay, two more things. I'm going to mention this. This is my friend Billy Fox.
Hi, Billy.
Hey, Bubba. So, Billy, I was in a band in high school with Billy and my brother called Steel Bath.
I remember Steel Bath.
Okay, so Billy has, ever since I've known him, since this situation happened, this really, really fucking got under his craw. And I understand why. And it does involve Settle the Sky. And so there was going back to one of the Pon Effect shows.
Yeah.
I had talked with I can't remember who I talked with. It might have been Dan or somebody, but like Steel Bath was trying to get on some shows. Because we were just like this like metal band, and we were writing some kind of like cool heavy songs. It was fun, and I wanted to play a show with my brother and our friends, and you guys were putting on a show, and Dan was like, "Hey, Steel Bath wants to open. You guys can come play." And I was like, "All right." And so I got the boys all excited, like, "Guys,
Yeah.
I got the
We got a
Bath
show.
I got the Bath show." And they're like, "Let's fucking go." And I don't quite recall the details, but I think according to Bill, he remembers it as, I think it might have been Mike or somebody in the band, and Settle the Sky went to our MySpace, and our profile picture was like John Lovitz as the devil. It was something so stupid and funny.
Settle the Skies was, or Steel Bath?
Oh, Steel Bath. Steel Bath.
Okay.
It was a cartoon devil on MySpace, and somebody in Settle the Sky saw that and was like, "We can't have this on our show." And so you know
what?
It was Mike.
That sounds like Mike, but B, if it was if it was a Pontifex show too, that was like the reason we were able to get that venue was it was like kind of a Christian-y-ish place.
It's Christian run. I see it like,
so we were a little bit limited on what we could do there, and as many people know, we don't throw shows there anymore because they stopped letting people mosh, and they just it was a little too DIY, a little too underground, a little too hardcore.
We were just a little too fwinging punk rock. Okay.
Damn it, Mike.
Damn it, Mike, dude. Wait, hold on. Damn it, Mike. Yeah, it was definitely Mike. So we love an accountable king. Shout out
for real.
Own it, girl. But it's still, it was bothersome for sure that like I got the boys all riled up, and then hold on a second. Wow, you suck, Mike. Bill talks about this all the time. He does.
All right, so next podcast at the end, you need to bring on Mike and Bill.
Yeah,
we gotta hash this out. We gotta settle it once and for all.
Brother, we're all almost 42.
I'm 40.
No, it was frustrating, because we're trying to play a show, and it was just sort of like because of the most insane little tiny detail of a cartoon devil being silly Billy, like, we're metal. Like, that got us kicked off a show. No. Bill worked with Mike, I think at Home Depot at the one where, so like, no, they're cool. Like, so that being said, there are no hard feelings. It's just a really funny story now.
Yeah.
And Bill just going, God damn it. But so the last thing I do want to do here is, while I try and figure out how I can share my screen, 1 second here. I think I can do that. Share screen. Hell yeah. I'm going to play a video.
Ooh.
And it is a video that I rediscovered only because you had agreed to come on here and do this. Now, I thought this video was long destroyed and long gone, and this YouTube channel was non-existent. Boy, was I wrong. So let me see if I can share screen.
I'm
1 second.
Excited and terrified. I have no idea what you're pulling up right now.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can share screen. Yes. Okay. All right. Y'all see this?
I see. Well, then again, I'm with you, so I don't see anything.
Okay.
I don't know what they're seeing.
Okay, 1 second. Trying to learn how to do this. Why won't it let me share? Oh no. Oh, never mind. I got it. Haha. Select tab. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, we're going to do it this way. All right, share screen. Okay, here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Love technical difficulties. Does this look semi-familiar?
Then I remember saying tonight
We
We
will
will
go
go
home.
home all the time. I don't remember why we did it. So this is 16 years ago. Hit me.
This is yes. So this is a video where we were driving from Toledo to get your keyboard repaired before a tour.
Is this the same tour where I also then forgot the keyboard?
That I don't know. That was really funny. Playing a kid's keyboard in at the Modern Exchange in Southgate, Michigan was insane. But this was on our way home.
Right now.
Oh, is that the one?
No, that's what I'm trying to fix right now.
Oh, hell yeah. So we were on our way home from dropping his keyboard off to get repaired, and we got stuck in traffic on Route 20. And it was one of those moments where I didn't have a CD player in the car. I think I was driving my dad's truck at the time. And I think the music that was on the radio or what cassette was in there was like Celtic music.
Yes.
And we got stuck in traffic, and then this moment just happens. So let's see if we can do this here.
I've got no audio from it. Oh my gosh, baby Ian. My Lord. I've got no sound from this. That totally takes away from the epicness of it, but this is glorious. I remember this whole moment just feeling so like cinematic and epic in real life.
Look at that camera.
Oh, it was when the traffic finally started moving. So I think what we're missing with the audio here was like it was like kind of like dark and broody, but then as soon as traffic started moving, it like went like to a major key and just it felt really hopeful. And then all of a sudden it was like, tonight we will go home. Awesome.
That was insane. Look at those baby faces. Technology is hard, guys. Well, that being said, thank you, dude, for hanging out with me. Thank everybody in the chat for hanging out for almost 2 hours. This has been a whole thing. This has been Core Confessionals. We're going to try and do this every week, whether it's I'll have a guest or if it's just going to be me doing a solo pod where I'm just hanging out with you guys, telling stories. This is, again, like a 1-part retrospective, of this time in history, but then also a little bit of therapy. That being said, again, if you guys want to donate to the channel and help us kind of grow this thing, share it. Please, like, share your friends, tell the peoples. If you know anybody who wants to hop on the pod, who I think would want to share their story, by all means, hit me up. All my socials, I'm usually at Ian Ryder on Instagram, but also I have a band. That's not all. I'm also we'll plug Settle the Sky.
Heck yeah.
Still a band. But then also I do have another band called Holy Coast, and I say the name Holy Coast because if you want to donate financially, in the description I have shared my Cashapp, which is $ Holy Coast, and Venmo, at Holy Coast, if you want to help, fund stuff that we want to do, because life's weird and I want to really pursue as much creative stuff as I can on top of my normal job, because I love creating stuff and I want to get back into that mode again. So if anybody wants to do a kindness, either financially, you can do it that way, or if you want to do it just by spreading the word, please do. I really want to grow this channel. Now that I'm doing yapping about my stupid stuff, JD, do you have anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
I mean, wayofthesource.com is where I'm doing all my writing and spiritual stuff that I'm trying to figure out. I've got some books in the works that'll be coming out through that platform. And then, Settle the Skies back together, has been for a little while. We're kind of trying to write, and we have some interesting things possibly up our sleeves that we're not really sure yet. Nothing to announce at the moment, but The boys are back in town.
We're
They're
writing.
hanging out. And
Writing
I
some
honestly,
riffs.
I think I've got a lot of friends who still listen to a lot of Christian metalcore. I think while it did certainly have its rise and fall, I think there's like kind of a resurgence and like it's kind of alive and well. It's kind of doing all right in its own little corner there. But I think we might see a little bit of resurgence here. So it'll be cool to see what happens with that and this podcast and just I don't know. It's cool. I'm really excited for you, man. This has been fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy. Well, that being said, everybody that's been hanging out, appreciate y'all. We will see you again next week with Marco. Well, I'll announce that on all the platforms. But until next time,
That'll be fun.
peace.
Man.
Bye, y'all. And stream.